Okay, thank you. So welcome everybody to the first session. We have Valley Metro Transit Education and Travel Training. And our two presenters today are Dolores and Brenda. Dolores is a Community Relations Coordinator at Valley Metro. She has more than 25 years experience in educational outreach. Prior to joining Valley Metro in 2000 to do presentations on the transit system, she did presentations on art for Phoenix Art Museum. Dolores practices what she preaches by taking the bus and sometimes light rail to work. And our good friend, Miss Brenda, is a travel trainer with Valley Metro and managed by MTM. She has been with Valley Metro since the inception of travel training program in 2011. Brenda's mission is to help individuals access public transit. In the past 8 years, Brenda has trained as many as 500 plus individuals who are now able to connect to jobs, school, training, family, and many other destinations independently. Prior to joining Valley Metro, she was a special education teacher for 18 years. So everyone please welcome Brenda and Dolores.
Good morning. I'm Dolores, and this is Brenda. We are from Valley Metro, your public transportation system, and thank you for this opportunity to share our information. Transportation is an important part of our lives. We need it to get to work, school, socialize, take care of our family, get healthy, stay healthy, and so much more. It is vital to a productive and rewarding life. Public transportation helps many people make these important connections. Learning to use it is an important life skill that will last a lifetime. This presentation will give you an overview of Valley Metro services, fixed route, that's a transit term for bus, light rail, and circulator, and also origins to destinations, which is paratransit, dial-a-ride. So hopefully we will give you the tools you need to help your students learn how to use the transit system. This is very casual, so please ask questions as they come up. You don't necessarily need to wait for the end. Let's see. So, Valley Metro travels through most of Maricopa County. This is our system map, and it's filled with a lot of colored lines that have numbers attached to them. And the yellow part, which you can't see at all, is the light rail. So each of those lines has a number that tells you the bus routes, and then the light rail. So figuring out where you are on this map and where you're going is the first step in planning your trip. This map is, our materials are in that very first table. And this map is in one of the brochures, so help yourself. So as I said, I'm going to do an overview of services. You're probably most familiar with our bus service. These are some of the buses that you might see on the road. Local bus service runs most days, every day in most areas, starting about 5 a.m., often earlier, to about 11, 12, and 1 a.m., depending on what city. It's not a truly regional system. The hours in Phoenix are a little bit different than the ones in Glendale, than Peoria. Express bus service is for people who live in outer areas and work in downtown Phoenix. So they'll go to a park and ride, drive their car there, get dropped off there, ride their bike there, hop on an express bus, and go all the way downtown without stopping. That service, that commuter service, runs Monday through Friday, going into the downtown area starting about 5 a.m. Nothing during the day, and about 3 o'clock, the buses start going back out to the outer areas. Neighborhood circulators. You probably didn't know these are part of Valley Metro, but they are smaller buses, and they're meant to get into the neighborhood streets. If you've been in Tempe, most of you, all of you have probably, you've seen the blue buses, the Orbit system. That's a circulator. Scottsdale's got the trolley. Avondale's got the Zoom, and so on. What's cool about them is when they're smaller. When they're in the neighborhood streets, you can get on and off wherever. You don't have to be at a bus stop. Another cool thing about most of them is that they're free. So a lot of times you can get a free ride to your destination. And of course, Valley Metro Light Rail. I should have started out. Who has been on a Valley Metro bus in here? So About half of you. How about the light rail? Circulator? Not as many. How about dial-a-ride? Some of you. Okay. Who's never been on Valley Metro anything? Oh, so just a few of you. Most of you have. Very good. So light rail is our train system. It opened, this is the 10th year of light rail service. I can barely believe that. So it opened in late 2008. Our first extension was August 23rd, and we added another 3 miles in Mesa. Later on, we added another 2 miles in up north, the Northwest extension. So now the light rail is 26 miles long. It starts or ends at 19th Avenue and Dunlap, and the other end is in Mesa. Right now it goes to Mesa Drive. Very soon, in May, we're going to open our third extension, and it's going to go all the way to Gilbert Road. So this is the current alignment, 26 miles. So at 26 miles, it's about half of what the whole system will eventually be. There are lots of extensions planned, and everything is on the website, so if you want to take a look. So you get on and off the light rail stations, at the light rail stations, and there are 32 of them. So for such a large vehicle, light rail is surprisingly quiet. So one of the accessibility features is as the train approaches an intersection, you'll hear either the horn or the bell, and that is to let people with visual impairments know that the train is in the area. It's a great way to get to Sky Harbor. Has anyone used light rail to get to Sky Harbor? It's a great way. How was it? Pretty easy. It's pretty easy to do. You get off at the 44th Street exit, go up the escalator, or go around to the elevator and walk over to SkyTrain. SkyTrain is part of Sky Harbor. It is not part of light rail. So up to now, I've been talking about our fixed route system. We do have the origins to destinations service, and that is what's known as paratransit or dial-a-ride. So dial-a-ride, there are two types of service. There's ADA, which is federally mandated public transportation service for people unable to independently use the bus or light rail for some or all of their trips. There's also non-ADA service, and the availability of these services depends on the city that the person lives in. For some of the cities require a person to be ADA certified, the Americans with Disabilities Act certified, and that certification comes from Valley Metro. It's done at our Mobility Center, which is at 4600 East Washington. So what they've done at the Mobility Center is they've created an indoor transit experience. There's a full-size bus there. There are different walking surfaces. There's a full-size traffic light there. So depending on what the disability or issue is with the person, that is what is assessed. So there's some paperwork that's done. The whole assessment takes maybe between 30 and 45 minutes. And that results in lifetime eligibility for some people. The standard certification is 5 years, and the determination is made within 21 days. So for those individuals who are ADA certified, one of the benefits is getting this ADA Platinum Pass. This Platinum Pass has the person's picture on it, and it's good for free travel on bus and light rail. It's a very nice benefit of being ADA certified. There are other ways to get around. Some of the cities provide cab programs. The city of Phoenix does have one that's called Senior Cab and ADA Cab Program. Scottsdale's got their cab program. It's called the Scottsdale Cab Connection. And then some of the East Valley cities have the Ride Choice. And we do have information on all of these in the back. Okay, so those are our services. We do provide some tools to help access these services. We have the transit book, we've got customer service, and we've got our website. So customer service, 602-253-5000. That is the number to call if you have any kind of question on transit, how to get from point A to point B, how much is the fare, you have questions on dial-a-ride, what time does the next Route 80 get to 12th Street. Anything having to do with transit, you can call one of these very well-trained customer service reps. Our transit book comes out twice a year. In fact, transit changes are made twice a year, October and April. So the transit book comes out. In fact, there are so few changes coming up next month. They come out in October and April that they're just doing a supplement. So this book is actually going to be good until October to be used along with the supplement. Our website, valleymetro.org, has all sorts of information. You can plan your trip right online. There's information on all things having to do with transit. So we have a multi-tiered fare structure. There's local, there's express, and then there's the reduced fare. Let's take a quick look. The reduced fare is at the bottom, and it's half of what local is. The reduced fare is for youth, which for us is 6 through 18. 5 and under are free, and once you turn 19, you start paying local. It's also for seniors. For us, that's 65 years and older, and persons with disabilities, that's any kind of disability. So the reduced fare, one ride, point A to point B, is $1. An all-day pass is $2. So for $2, you can get on and off the bus and the light rail unlimited times for the day. There are also multi-day passes, 7-day, 15, and 31-day passes. The 31-day pass is $32, and that starts to save you money if you use it at least 16 days out of the 31. So if you just use transit once in a while, stick with the one-day passes. To use the reduced fare, you do need to show eligibility. So you can use, if it's for age, you can use a driver's license, Arizona ID, passport. You can also use a Medicare card for proof. If a person doesn't have any of those proofs, you can apply for the reduced fare. And it's pretty easy. Everything we talk about here is online. So that application is online. We recommend that a person buys their passes before getting on the vehicle. You can actually pay cash on the bus, but it takes time. So if you have your pass ahead of time, it's much easier and quicker. And here are just some of the places you can buy your passes. And those places include Circle K, Corner Store, Fry's, PLS check cashers, Safeway, 7-Eleven, and there are actually many more places, but there's one of these places on almost every corner in the valley. You can buy a pass today. You don't need to use it today. You can use it tomorrow, next week, next year. It's got a long shelf life. The clock doesn't start ticking until the first time that you use it. I just wanted to mention a deal we have with Talking Stick Arena. So if you're going to an event at Talking Stick Arena, your fare on light rail is free. So if you have a ticket to a concert, you go to the park and ride, leave your car there, hop on the train, and then if you are asked for your pass by a fare inspector, you can show them your ticket to the event. So that's a pretty nice deal. Another public service announcement, all Valley Metro buses and light rail stations are safe places for teens. So if there's a teen in crisis for whatever reason, they can tell the bus driver on any bus, any Valley Metro bus, that they need help, and they will get a supervisor to come over and take them to a social service agency. They can also 24/7 go to one of the light rail stations. There's an emergency button at the light rail station, and they could get immediate help that way. So how to use the transit system. So someone in here who's never used the transit system, would you like to share why you haven't? Some of the answers I get is, I'm afraid, I don't know how to. I'm afraid I won't know how to get off the bus, and those are all very valid fears. The key to taking the fear away is to plan your trip. You have all the information up front that takes the fear away. And so we want you to plan, and then we've given you the tools to plan. There's the transit book, calling customer service, or our website. Google Transit. Probably everybody in here has used Google to find an address or the way to drive there. You use the exact same technology to plan your transit trip. So instead of clicking on the car, you will click on the little bus icon, and it'll give you all the information you need to take a bus or light rail trip. We have an app. Probably everybody in here has a smartphone or some other technology. We have an app, it's called Ride Kick, and you can get that from your favorite app store, and it's free. So once you have your information, your itinerary, you know where you're going to catch the bus or the train, where you're going to make your transfer, what else is going to help you travel comfortably? For each person, it's something different. Maybe comfortable shoes, water. We want you to have water. Maybe a hat, sunscreen. So whatever is going to help you or your students help travel comfortably, please do that. So once again, you've got your itinerary. You know what time the bus is coming. Has anyone ever heard of a bus being late? Yes, buses are late for many reasons. Every bus stop, every transit stop actually, whether it's a light rail stop or the bus stop, has its own unique ID number. With that ID number, you can get real time. So all buses, light rails, circulators, they are equipped with a GPS, so the system knows where each vehicle is at all times. So with this number, you can text or go online or call customer service, get real time. So as I'm getting ready in the morning, I use the same stop, of course, every day. I put it in my phone or my computer, and it pops up with 3 different times. The first time it gives me is what time the bus is actually going to be there. So that's really handy to have. Why be at the bus stop any longer than you have to be? So at the bus stop, and yes, you have a question? That's okay. It is not. Is the bus number written somewhere in Braille? No, it's not, because it's really high.
And I told her I was blind, but she kept, why am I echoing?
Oh, I brought you.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I
okay. I told her I was blind, and she was really trying to be helpful. So, I'm not trying to diss on her or anything, but she kept telling me to look for the beige building, look for the purple rock, look for this. What number is on the bus stop? And it's like, I don't know. Finally I found a person who read the bus stop number, but it's like, I didn't know if there was anything accessible for us to be able to know what bus stop we're at. So.
Thank you. You can find out the bus numbers on our website. You can call customer service, but no, unfortunately, it's not available in Braille. Just the light rail, right, and I'll talk about that too. So in any case, you want to be at the bus stop 5 minutes before the bus is scheduled to be there. You want to be visible and have your fare ready. You want to make sure you're getting on the right bus. So you can look at the bus number over the windshield, and it'll have the number and the direction it's traveling. Also, when the bus approaches, the doors open, it also announces what bus it is. So you can watch for your stop for your correct bus, or you can listen for your correct bus. Yes?
So, what if there's a person who's deafblind and they're sitting there and they have a cane, but they can't hear as well as see? And so the bus will announce and announce this is a certain number, but the person isn't going to respond.
Okay, so what if someone is deaf and blind?
So when Normally, when a person low vision or with a white cane gets on a bus, the bus driver will ask you, what are you looking for? Where are you trying to get off the bus? And you're right. There are folks who can't read the announcements, can't hear the announcements, and the drivers are usually very good at stopping. You tell them the corners you want off at, and stopping where you need to go, and letting you know when we're there. Yep.
I don't think you quite understood my question. So the person has no hearing and no vision, and they're a bus rider, and they're at the bus stop, and the bus pulls up, and the bus announces that this is like bus 533 going this way, and the person doesn't hear it or see it. Do you guys have any system in place to deal with that?
I don't think so.
No?
So if they hear it,
So I will tell you that in some other cities, what I've been aware of is that, the hailing cards?
the what?
The bus hailing cards? You never saw the bus hailing cards of the braille numbers, and they're large print and they're contrasted, and a person could flip through the numbers and hold out the card so the bus driver knows which card they're going to use. And in Seattle, what they did was that, because sometimes bus drivers are driving by and there's 3 buses going by the same place, maybe one customer, if they're holding up, it saves time and energy. Or sometimes because I've been with students who are blind and they're sitting there and maybe their canes are not quite visible, and because they don't jump up when the bus is coming by, the bus driver keeps on going rather than stop, because part of that is the fault of the traveler really not making themselves visible. But in Seattle, they have different color coded cards. So like the one for the deafblind is neon green, so if the bus driver sees the neon green card, they know automatically they have to get off the bus, go pick them up, and assist them onto the bus without having to bring attention to the fact that they're deaf and blind. Where in Tucson at one point in time, we used to have people had to wear buttons that say, "I am deaf and blind," while they're sitting at the bus stop, so the bus driver would come off and get them on the bus. My other question is, do you guys have barcodes at your bus stop that tell you the bus stop that goes there, and also the time the next buses come? None of that is in place. And then one last thing, I was up in the Northwest this summer, and at their transit center, they had all kinds of different fare boxes and different types of ramps and stuff so that people could actually, I know it's part of your evaluation, but it's also practicing to see if they actually could manage riding the bus and all that. It was an amazing warehouse filled with ramps and stones, like some of the things you were talking about, but there were also other options to really alert different customers. So I was curious how far Valley Metro has come with that.
Not very far. We are a very small, for such a large metropolitan area, we are a very small system, and we're very behind in technology. But I'm thinking one very low-tech thing for some students to have maybe at the bus stop is just the number written on a piece of paper that they can just kind of be holding. I mean, that's not very glamorous, but that might do the job. Thank you. And another thing, other than being ready to board your bus, we always tell people is let that driver know, if you're sitting down, stand up. Of course, if you're deaf and blind, you don't know that the bus is approaching, but everybody else, if you could stand up or even give the driver a little wave, some kind of indication that you are waiting for that bus, that could be helpful. So as I said, the door, yes. Can you wait just a second? Would you mind holding the mic?
Of course.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm not sure if this will help everybody, but one thing that I personally use is Microsoft Soundscape. It's on iOS. It's a location app that gives me audio beacons of nearby bus stops, and it is a free app.
Thank you. What was the name again?
Soundscapes.
Soundscapes. Free app by Microsoft. Thank you. All Valley Metro vehicles are 100% mobility aid accessible. So once you get on the bus, advocate for yourself. The driver doesn't know what you need, whether it's simply to board the bus using the kneeling feature. The kneeling feature is when the whole side of the bus lowers. And sometimes if a person has a walker, that's all you need. All they need is just for the bus to be lowered a little bit. Brenda and I have been taking the bus for many years, and usually when at least when I get on, they usually start driving away, which I don't care. You know, I've got bus legs. But others may not be as steady, so let the driver know, please wait until I sit down. What else do you need? It's not that the bus driver doesn't care, he doesn't know what you need. So teach your students or ask for yourself what you need. Okay, so you've got your pass. You're boarding the bus, you've got your pass that you bought at Circle K. The first time you use it, you need to validate it. And the fare box has a slot that you're going to stick in, put the pass in, and it sucks it up and then spits it back out. When it spits it back out, it's going to have the date that it expires, whether it's today, 7 days from today, 15, and so on. The driver can help you with that. The seats in the front are reserved for persons with disabilities, but once again, you may have to ask the driver if someone's sitting there. Most people will gladly give up their seats, but sometimes they're just not paying attention. We have some guidelines. Okay, no way. We want you to have drinks as long as they are in a container that can be resealed. Water bottles or those promotional coffee cups, anything like that is allowed. Pets are allowed as long as they're contained. Service animals, of course, there's no problem with that. The service animals are working. No way, we always say you can take your lunch on the bus, you just can't eat it on the bus. And this is for bus and light rail. Keep your music or your sounds, your computer to yourself. Please use headphones, earbuds. So as the bus is traveling, the driver or the automatic voice will call out the major stops. The same information is on the rolling text. So you can listen for your stop or you can watch for your stop. And once again, if a person is deaf and blind, they can tell the driver where their stop is going to be. Drivers are very good about saying, ma'am, sir, your stop's coming up. So when you see or hear your stop coming up, you want to signal the driver, and you can either pull the cord, press the button. Sometimes there's a strip around the window. We asked, yes?
Just real quick, someone here at my table would like to know if more than one bus goes down one street.
If more than one bus goes down the street.
Are you asking, so like on Northern, is there more than one bus that's going up and down Northern? Okay, yeah.
Oh, of different numbers. Oh, yes. Sometimes, like here on Northern, it's the route 80. Right around here, the route 12 comes by. So yes. So once again, you know, you want to make sure you're getting on the right bus. When the doors open, it should announce which route and which direction it's going. Does that answer your question? Is that what you were asking? Okay. Did that answer? Yes. May I give you the microphone?
Okay, thank you. One of the challenges I found using the bus is trying to locate the bus stop. Is there any device or maybe a belt they can use to help us, people with low vision, to locate the bus stop?
A simple thing you can do is call customer service, but the bus stops around you will also be on our app, RideKick.
Yeah, it's just that sometimes to navigate to find the bus stop, sometimes I find it very difficult. in using the bus. Sometimes I remember it was a time I tried to use the bus, but I was trying to find the bus stop, swinging my cane, but I couldn't find it.
Physically find the bus?
Yeah, to find a bus stop to wait. So what I'm asking is if you guys can help provide a device, maybe like a bell, something ringing at the bus stop to tell us this is where the bus stop is, then we can we can locate it easily. That's what I'm asking. If is there any device?
I don't know of any device. Brenda, can you?
We don't necessarily. Now, you were talking about the app that was being used. It could help with a sonar and find the bus stop. Was that kind of how you used that, sir? Yes.
It's an app that uses audio cues, so you wear headphones with it, and it'll make a sound in the direction of where you're needing to go, and it'll give you a louder sound when you're at the location.
Does it work at any bus stop?
I've only tested it both here in Anaheim, and it's worked everywhere that I've used it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. So this app, it uses headphones, you said. Yes, okay. And it is kind of a sonar kind of a locator for bus stops? Here, I'm going to let you talk on the mic. It's right in front of you again.
Sorry. It's an app that gives you directional audio, so you need to wear headphones for it to work correctly. So left, right, you'll hear it on the left side if it's to your left. But you can look up different locations. So where's the nearest McDonald's? Where's the nearest? It says that this particular building's here. It also lists bus stops. So you can select the bus stop you want to go to, and it'll give you an audio cue in the direction you need to go. So if it's in front of you, you'll hear it in front of you. Once you get to that location, it'll give you a longer, louder tone to indicate that you're at the correct location. Microsoft Soundscape. It's not perfect, but it's been pretty reliable for me thus far.
Thank you. That's wonderful.
So, getting on the train, you're going to use one of the 32 light rail stations, and there are directional signs that you can use that are in Braille at the light rail stations to tell you if you're waiting on the right side for the train that's approaching. And there are plenty of sound announcements that'll tell you when the bus is coming, what direction it's traveling, how often, when. All along the light rail platform is the textured warning strips. So if you feel that those the tactile bumps under your feet, you know you're too close to the tracks. There are Braille signs, the directional signs that I mentioned. The rider information is announced and visually displayed, and there are emergency call boxes. The fare vending machines, there are at least 2 on every side of the light rail station. You can use that machine to validate your pass that you already have. You can use the machine to buy passes to use right away or for later on. The font is large. It meets the font size, color, and shape. They meet ADA requirements. There are Braille and voice instructions in English and in Spanish. So, as I said, you can use the machine to validate your pass or to buy it. So taking the light rail is the honor system, but you may be approached by a fare inspector, and what they're looking for is a validated pass. That is a pass with a date on it. Once again, light rail is totally accessible. There is a small gap between the platform and the vehicle, but it should not impair the use of the cane. So you get the same on the train. You get the same cues that you do on the bus. That is, vocal announcements as well as visual announcements. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Same guidelines as the bus. That is, pets are allowed as long as they're contained. No food, no eating. So exiting light rail, the train stops. You do not have to signal your stop on the train. The train stops at every single station. Your job is to pay attention and listen and or watch for your stop if you can. So now Brenda will talk about travel training.
And how do we turn this? Is it that one? Okay. So Valley Metro does have a program called travel training. And in travel training, we work one-on-one with persons with disabilities, teaching them specific bus routes. Hopefully something that has meaning to the individual. So the service is free. And like I said, it is a one-on-one training. There we go. And we do work with folks of any disability and of a range of ages, starting usually around high school age, through older adults, any adult with disabilities. We try to work with anyone and everyone who needs our help. We also have a grant that has funded an orientation and mobility travel training program. And this is still fairly new to us. So we are still, working this out and trying to figure it out. Spencer Churchill actually worked with us last year on this program for the beginning, for the first few months. We are contracting with orientation and mobility instructors, and they are working as travel trainers. So they're working specifically on skills for riding the bus, just like I would do with any of my individuals. And we have, our one stipulation for this program is that the individual has had prior orientation and mobility instruction. So this is someone who comes to us with some skills in street crossing and, some other, their white cane use, that type of thing, so that we can concentrate specifically on travel training, on learning a bus route, getting there and getting back. And our goal, again, for this program would be the same as our travel training goal, to get an individual able to go to at least one destination completely independently and on their own. Basically, travel training works like this. We identify customers, and we go out and do an assessment. And with our assessment, we're asking all kinds of questions about the individual's disability, their needs, whatever training they may or may not have had, and any information that will help us teach this person their bus route and keep them safe when they're out within the community. So we do an assessment. Once we have sat down with our assessment, worked with our individual, we usually during that time plan a trip. So we talk about, one destination, at least to start with, that they would love to learn how to go. Yes?
Where does the trip start? Does it start at the bus station? Does it start at where does it start?
That's an excellent question. Where does the trip start? And that depends on the individual we're working with. We try to make this a truly individualized program. So if it needs to start at that individual's home, then that's where we start. So a lot of the training, and I've worked with some folks who were low vision, the hard part wasn't getting on and off the train. It was getting to the stop, right? Exactly. So yes, we do start where they need to start from.
Those contracted O&M specialists are doing the same thing.
Yes.
That's what you said.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Because we want this to be practical. We want this to be a route and a skill that this individual can really use. And, maybe it's learning how to get to school, maybe it's learning how to get to work, but, something important, something that they can really do and gain independence doing so. Yes. So we do the training, and like I said, the training starts from home, starts from wherever it needs to start. It also ends wherever the actual destination is. So again, not the bus stop, but the building that we're going into type of thing. And if the building requires going to the third floor and learning how to use the elevator or anything like that, that's also included, yes. We do this as many times as the individual needs. So, every now and then you run into someone who has some bus skills, they just don't know how to plan a trip, and they're not sure how to get someplace. So you take them out once or twice, and they can do this independently. Sometimes this can take 20 or 24 trips. It is all based on the individual that we're working with. And the goal, again, is to go to safely navigate one route all on their own. So, some of the skills that you need for independent travel, and it does sound kind of easy. You get on the bus, you go where you're going, you get off, right? But as we all know, it's a lot more complicated in some respects. It is good to be able to have a form of communication. Again, it does not have to be verbal communication, depending on disability. Right? And so we try to come up with something that is useful, that we can help bus drivers understand also. So working on communication, we work on self-advocacy. Dolores mentioned that. You might need to mention where you need to get off at. I'm looking for the stop at this particular corner. Telling a bus driver something like that so he can help you. Knowledge of appropriate behavior, that's not usually a problem, but there are rules and we all need to follow them on the bus, that type of thing. Being able to navigate, that's usually one of the big ones. Getting to the bus stop, getting back from the bus stop, planning your route. Safety and street crossing. There is almost no trip you can take in this city without having to cross at least one street. And even if it's light rail, it might just be a half a street. But the way our system works is, if you're going back, you're going to be crossing a street at some point. So that's kind of an important one, and sometimes we spend a long time on it. And then recognition of unsafe behaviors or unsafe situations. It would be other people's behaviors, but just making sure that everyone's safe while they're out in the community, around strangers. And things happen. Emergencies happen. We talk about things like, what if the bus doesn't show up? What are we going to do? Are we going to call someone? Are we going to get a hold of customer service? What if you're relying on the bus driver to help you know when your stop is, and they forget? And now you've just gone past your stop, that type of thing. So we try to practice a lot of these things. And what happens is the more often we're out on the bus practicing this route, the more real things happen that allow us to use it and teach from it. And again, these are just, the general skills, but we go over them and we work side by side with people to help them. So getting to the bus stop, checking for the correct bus. In many situations, we would have to be a lot more creative to come up with a way to be sure this individual knows they're getting on the right bus, that type of thing. Boarding the vehicle, paying their fare. Again, all of this, we practice it, and we practice it together. Sitting in the right place, and particularly if you are asking a bus driver for help, a lot of drivers will ask for the seat directly behind them to be cleared so that the individual can be close by so that they can talk. And listening or reading or having some signal that allows them to know when the stop is approaching. And of course, then once you're there, getting to your destination. All right, what am I doing wrong? Oh, there it is. Okay. And safety, community safety is always important. It is something that we always talk about, and things do always come up, so we get to actually practice. But who do you talk to on the bus? Who is the safest person? Obviously, it would be the bus driver. Hopefully, they have some knowledge of that route, of where you're going, and they have no interest except to get you where you're going. So they are the safest person to talk to. What you find, and I know many of you have said you've been on the bus before, is if you ask a question, you're going to get about 4 answers from people behind you and beside you and around you. So, we want that to happen, because I want my individual to be able to discern which is the correct answer and who they should be talking to. Also, rarely have I ever run into an unsafe situation, but I want everyone to know, maybe it's easier to sit at the front of the bus than the back of the bus, mostly so you can talk to the driver. But, if you do see something or you hear something, report it. Talk to the driver or get up and move, just depending on what's going on. But I always want people to be aware and be proactive and pay attention to their surroundings. There we go. And we do have applications for travel training. We have some brochures. We also have some ADA applications and some information about paratransit and dial-a-ride. So, did anyone have any questions about travel training? Yes. So we have at the Mobility Center, yes, we do. We have a bus inside the building. And we do have a lovely facility, and it has a light for street crossing, and it has ramps, and it has rocky surfaces and grass and things like that. But we also have a giant bus sitting in there, yes. And yes, you can. Yes, you can. So that would be something maybe you and I could talk about. Yeah, and we could set something up like that. It's a really old bus. The thing about that particular bus is all of our newer buses are shaped a little differently. Accessibility might be a little bit different on some of our newer buses. I mean, they're all accessible, but actually seating and that type of thing has changed. But it does have a fare box, yes. It does have a step. It does have a ramp. So yeah, all this is good for practice, yes, absolutely. Yes, just real quick. Generally, travel training is available Monday through Fridays. We can make exceptions on Saturdays. We would like to meet the customer's need as much as we possibly can. So, yes.
I just wanted to know if a client's been ADA certified already, but they were certified before you were giving out the Platinum Passes, how do they get a Platinum Pass now?
You can call 2100, 602, is it 253? No. Yes. And actually, if you call customer service, regular customer service, and you tell them that you need to talk to Platinum Pass, okay, they will connect you with the right individual. He can look them up and be sure they're still certified. And I've gotten many Platinum Passes for people that way, yes, because they came to me and got their ADA certification prior to Phoenix participating in the program, that type of thing. Yes.
I'm here in the Valley.
Yes.
In the state. Can I bring clients of mine over to the Mobility Center for them to check out the bus?
Again, yes, we'd be happy to have you do that. But we'd need to make arrangements. The Mobility Center is being used for mobility assessments basically all day long. So, yes, we would love to have you come visit. We just need to plan it.
Bus lessons with my students, it's a real life situation. Okay, let's hurry up, let's get on the bus. Yeah. So there's no time to kind of absorb all the details about the bus because I take folks on buses all the time for a lesson. So I could do that if I make an appointment then. Okay.
You just need to get a hold of me.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I'll give you my card. Okay. I will. Okay.
I wanted to mention that we do a training every month at Ability 360. It's generally the third Wednesday. It's the third Wednesday at 10 o'clock. So I do a presentation that's very similar to that, but I have a bus there. So after the presentation, we go down to the bus, we explore the bus, we take an actual bus ride, and then the bus drops us off at 44th Street in Washington. We go on the train, we go to Tempe Transit Center, so that's about 5 stops. And then we turn around and come back to the 44th Street, the bus takes us back to Ability 360. So that way everybody gets a little bit of experience on the bus and the light rail, and hopefully a stress-free environment. So. Yes, and that's on our website also under, community relations. And my name is Dolores Nolan. My number is 523-6070. So that's 602-523-6070. My email is dnolan@valleymetro.org. DNOLAN at valleymetro.org. If you have questions on anything we talked about or the training.
Can I use my Dolores pass on a bus as well?
Can you use your Dial-A-Ride pass on the bus as well? If it is a City of Phoenix Dial-A-Ride pass, that does include bus and light rail. Is it a City of Phoenix? Yes. I think that's it. Thank you so much. So we're here, and there's some materials here. Come on over, pick up some stuff, ask us questions. Thank you.